Hi, Mike and Moose here. If you're about to start your first model kit, stop! Almost every beginner makes this one huge mistake that'll ruin your model before you even touch glue. I'll tell you how to avoid it next on Modeling with Mike. Okay, welcome back, and I just want to let you beginners know that I know the struggle you're going through because I was there myself. I did the same thing when I started. I did this one huge mistake, and keep watching this video because it could save you hours of frustration and wasted kits. There are some common beginner struggles that we all know about, such as rushing the build, using the wrong tools, and not properly reading the instructions. But all of these mistakes pale to the number one mistake made by beginner modelers. And that mistake is, in my humble opinion, jumping straight into the build without proper planning and test fitting. Now, I brought with me two examples. These are two of my first three builds when I came back to the hobby. This is the USS Yorktown, and look how uneven the deck is on here. Look at all the gaps that are in there. I'm kind of proud of the planes, but you know, there's a couple of parts leaning to the side there, and yeah, the guns are pointed each, oh, it's pathetic. And then, well, look how beautifully the hood fits on this. Lack of planning right there caused that. Those are prime examples of what could happen when you don't do this one thing. Causes bad seams, gaps, and frustration. So why does this mistake ruin builds? There's 4 consequences that I came up with that this one mistake causes, and they are all directly caused by 5 sub-mistakes. The 4 consequences are wasted paint and glue, visible seams, parts not fitting correctly, and frustration, leading to giving up. Now, as I said, each of these are the result of 5 more specific things that are directly related to this one mistake. Number 1 is as far as wasted paint and glue. Number 1, misaligned parts equals reassembly. If parts don't line up because you didn't test fit, you'll end up breaking them apart after the glue is already set. And that causes wasted glue. Number 2, the paints get ruined by gaps and fixes. Beginners sometimes paint first, then try to glue without checking the fit. This leads to sanding, scraping, repriming, and wasted paint. Number 3, extra glue to force a fit. Without proper planning, parts might not slot in smoothly. Many beginners fix this by adding more glue than is needed. to hold it together, therefore wasting glue. Number 4, decals and finishing problems. If you don't test fit, sometimes you'll paint and decal sub-assemblies before realizing they don't align, possibly destroying the decals and the paint job in rework. Number 5, the snowball effect. Poor fit leads to wasted glue. Fixing seams after painting leads to wasted paint. Repainting after sanding leads to even more wasted paint. And all this could have been avoided by a quick dry fit beforehand. The second consequence, visible seams. Number 1, poor alignment of parts. If two halves, say two halves of a fuselage on a plane, or body and a chassis on a car, aren't checked first and dry fitted, they might not line up properly when glued. This could cause a step or gap along the seam. Number 2, glue filling the wrong areas. Beginners often try to force misaligned parts together by adding extra glue. We hit this before, which squeezes out of the seam and dries into a raised ridge. Number 3, gaps that weren't addressed early. Without dry fitting, which lets you spot if sanding, trimming, or shimming is needed, seams remain slightly open. Paint later sinks into these gaps, making it stand out even more. Number 4, paint, and we all know this is true. Paint and primer expose every flaw. A line that could have been fixed easily before gluing now becomes a visible scar across the finished model. And number 5, extra work after the fact. Once painted, fixing seams means sanding down and repainting, which often makes things worse. Now, the third consequence of this number one mistake are parts not fitting correctly. This is caused by 5 different things. Number 1, mold imperfections go unnoticed. Most kits have slight imperfections, as we know, like extra plastic flash, ejector pin marks, and warped parts. These could leave gaps, steps, or forcing pieces out of shape. Number 2, sub-assemblies don't match later. If sub-assemblies don't line up, you're stuck with crooked fits and large gaps. Number 3, glue locks in mistakes. If a part is glued in the wrong angle or position, every part that connects afterward gets thrown out of position. Number 4, paint gets in the way. Without proper pre-planning, beginners often paint contact areas. This results in weak joints, misalignment, and parts popping off later. And number 5, instructions aren't always clear. By not properly planning or test fitting, you might discover late that one part may block another or doesn't slide in correctly anymore. And this could be due to vague or misleading instructions. Now, the final consequence of this number 1 mistake, and it's the big one, It's frustration leading to giving up. And 5 more things directly cause this. Number 1, small problems snowball. One misaligned part doesn't seem like a big deal at first. But as you keep building, every step depends on the step before it. Suddenly nothing fits right and the model looks like crap. Number 2, wasted time and materials. Paint, glue, decals, and even whole sub-assemblies get ruined when you realize they don't fit. Beginners feel like they've wasted their time and money, which leads to discouragement. Number 3, expectations versus reality clash. When seams, gaps, or crooked parts appear because of poor pre-planning, the build looks nothing like the builder pictured. This can drain their motivation to keep going. Number 4, fixing mistakes becomes overwhelming. Once glue is cured or paint is on, fixing mistakes means sanding, filling, repainting, and sometimes breaking parts apart. Oftentimes beginners feel that this is impossible to recover from. And number 5, the hobby turns into stress. Many first-time modelers decide, this hobby isn't for me, when really it was just poor pre-planning causing the frustration. The build has become stressful rather than fun. I just gave you 20 different things that can be directly traced to this one mistake. How can we avoid it? 3 simple things, my friends, 3 simple things. Number 1, you have to take the time to examine, clean, and prep your parts when you first get the model. Take your parts out of the bag, look at them, make sure they're not warped, make sure you note any imperfections such as flash, such as warpage, sink marks, anything like that, and make sure you take care of it before you touch any glue or paint. If it has any oils or mold release agents, make sure you wash it in warm soapy water and let it air dry. And always prep your parts. Always prep your parts. Make sure you sand down all the sprue gates off of it. Make sure all your flash is trimmed off of it. Make sure once they're put together you don't have any raised seams to worry about. Number 2, always, always, always dry fit before gluing. Gluing should be the last thing you do when you're putting parts together, not the first. You always, always test fit. That way you know if there is some modification to be made to the parts, you know what needs to be done to it. Because, as I stated before, one misaligned part can throw off every other part after that. And number 3, you have to read your instructions carefully from front to back. I mean from the background information on the front page to your paint callouts. Look at your parts diagrams in the instructions and compare them to what's in the box to make sure they're all there. Make sure your sequence is in a logical order and that parts are not gonna block other parts. And here's another thing, this is your model kit. You already paid for it, so feel free to make notes on your instructions. As like, do this first, do this next, do this here next. Mark up your instructions as much as you need to, as long as you don't confuse yourself. It doesn't matter if nobody else understands what you marked means, as long as you do. So, the number one mistake beginners make is jumping into the build without proper pre-planning and test fitting. Avoid it and you could save yourself a ton of frustration. So did you make these mistakes when you first started? Or do you know of an even bigger mistake that newbies make? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Always love to hear from you. And if you like what you're hearing so far, and like what you're seeing, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And also let me remind you of our Facebook group, the Frugal Scale Modeler. I am going to have a link to it in the video description. All you got to do is hit that link. It'll take you to the group, and all you got to do to join is answer 3 simple questions and agree to the group rules. Once I review all that, I'll send you a welcome message saying you can go ahead and start posting. A good place to share all your builds and all your thoughts and tips and everything else, and commensurate with your fellow modelers. So don't forget to check that out. Next video is going to be spray booth safety, what every scale modeler should know. And this is basically going to be aimed toward the beginners, but even for the grizzled veterans, it doesn't hurt to have a refresher course on safety every now and then, so don't miss that. So that's all I got for this one. You know what we always say around here, never stop pushing your modeling boundaries. And until next time, bye-bye.